The story begins in a familiar, yet distorted way. Just like the first Matrix movie, a young woman is being tracked inside a city filled with surveillance. Officers in black uniforms storm into a building, chasing her. She fights back with superhuman reflexes, dodging bullets and disabling multiple enemies. But something feels different this time. A program named Bugs, along with her crew, is watching this scene unfold as if it is a replay of history. Bugs realizes that this is not the real Trinity, but a strange simulation repeating the events of the past. Inside the shadows, Bugs encounters another unusual figure, a program disguised as Morpheus. This Morpheus seems different, younger, but still aware of his purpose. He doesn't fully understand himself yet, but Bugs convinces him that his existence is not an accident. She explains that the Matrix has changed, and together they must search for the one person who can shift the balance, Neo. Meanwhile, in the fabricated world of the Matrix, Thomas Anderson lives a seemingly ordinary life. He is no longer Neo, but a famous video game developer. Thomas is best known for creating a groundbreaking trilogy of games called The Matrix. His company, Deus Machina, profits massively from his creation, but Thomas himself is troubled. He suffers from vivid visions and dreams, blurring the line between reality and imagination. Thomas attends therapy sessions with a man known as the Analyst, his psychiatrist. The Analyst carefully listens to his experiences of déjà vu and hallucinations, giving him blue pills to keep his mind stable. The Analyst insists that everything Thomas sees is only a projection of stress and trauma, nothing more. Thomas accepts this, but deep down he feels the pull of another truth. At Deus Machina, Thomas's business partner Smith pressures him to create a new Matrix sequel game. The name Smith triggers faint echoes in Thomas's memory, but he ignores them. He feels trapped in this corporate cycle, unsure if his own life is merely a continuation of the story he once wrote. One day at a local coffee shop called Simulat, Thomas meets a woman named Tiffany. She is kind, approachable, and shares small moments of connection with him. She is married, has children, and doesn't recognize him, but Thomas feels a powerful bond. Tiffany resembles Trinity from his visions, and this resemblance unsettles him deeply. Time passes, and Thomas struggles to separate his reality from his memories. He often sees digital distortions in the world, moments when the simulation glitches. During one stressful episode, he finds himself at the edge of a rooftop, overwhelmed by despair. But someone stops him. It is Bugs, who has been searching for him all along. Bugs explains that everything Thomas is experiencing is real. The world he lives in is the Matrix, a false reality constructed to keep him under control. She offers him a chance to rediscover who he truly is. With her help, Morpheus reappears, confirming Thomas's true identity as Neo. Thomas is terrified, but deep inside, he feels the familiarity of the path. He is once again offered a choice. Morpheus extends his hand, presenting the red pill, the symbol of awakening. Thomas hesitates, his mind clouded with doubt, but eventually he takes it. Immediately, his world begins to unravel. Walls bend, mirrors liquefy, and the fabricated structures collapse around him. Neo sees his reality shattering. The Analyst tries to stop him, but Bugs and Morpheus pull him out, rescuing his body from the simulation. Neo awakens in the real world once again. His body lies in a pod filled with fluids, connected to countless cables. Machines maintain his fragile form, extracting his energy. For a moment, he sees another pod nearby, Trinity's body. She is still alive, suspended in the system. Neo tries to reach her, but the machines pull them apart. Bugs and her team manage to rescue Neo from the machine city, carrying him aboard their hovercraft named Mnemosyne. Neo's body is weak, fragile, and scarred from years of captivity, but his mind slowly strengthens. On the ship, Neo learns that 60 years have passed since his sacrifice in the last battle against the machines. Humanity has changed. The city of Zion no longer exists. In its place stands Io, a new settlement where humans and some machines now live in cooperation. Neo is introduced to Niobe, the once young and fearless captain who fought beside him. Now older and cautious, Niobe explains the harsh truth. After Neo's victory years ago, peace existed for a while. But soon, conflicts erupted among the machines themselves, causing massive wars and power struggles. Out of the chaos, the Analyst created a new form of the Matrix, stronger and more deceptive than before. Niobe is wary of Neo's return. She believes his presence could destabilize everything they have built. Yet Neo is determined. His only desire is to find Trinity and free her. He insists that she is still alive, and without her, none of this feels complete. Meanwhile, within the Matrix, Neo's presence doesn't go unnoticed. The analyst manipulates the system, ensuring that Neo and Trinity remain close but always apart. He designs their bond as a form of control, by keeping them near enough to feel connection, but far enough to prevent full awakening. The system generates maximum power. Neo's longing and Trinity's dormant potential fuel the Matrix itself. Neo begins training again under Morpheus' guidance. Though his powers are not fully restored, fragments of his old self return. He learns to control his surroundings, bending the rules of the simulation, though not as effortlessly as before. His skills grow, but his mind remains fixated on Trinity. At the coffee shop, Neo tries to reconnect with Tiffany. Their conversations grow deeper, and she admits to sometimes feeling that her life is not her own. Neo tells her stories about choice, freedom, and destiny, hoping to awaken her hidden memories. But just as she begins to feel something stir, her husband Chad interrupts, pulling her away. The analyst appears again, reinforcing his control. He tells Neo that everything he feels is a delusion, a dangerous obsession. Using slow-motion bullet time, he traps Neo within distorted realities, proving his dominance over the simulation. Neo realizes that the analyst is more dangerous than any enemy he faced before. But Neo does not give up. With the help of Bugs, Morpheus, and the crew of Mnemosyne, he prepares for the impossible, to free Trinity from the Matrix once more. As Part 1 closes, Neo makes his decision clear. He will risk everything, defy the analyst, and face the impossible task of breaking Trinity's chains. Because without her, the fight means nothing. Neo's determination to free Trinity grows stronger. Even though Niobe warns him of the dangers, he refuses to abandon her. Bugs and the crew support Neo, believing that the one can never truly be complete without Trinity. Neo re-enters the Matrix, searching for her. At the coffee shop, he finally gathers the courage to ask Tiffany to meet with him privately. She seems curious, even drawn to him, but the analyst watches carefully. Just as Tiffany begins to question her life, her husband Chad arrives again, interrupting. Neo senses that Chad is nothing but a programmed distraction, designed to keep Trinity from awakening. Back aboard the Mnemosyne, Neo discusses the situation with Bugs and Morpheus. They realize that the analyst is deliberately manipulating reality, ensuring Trinity remains asleep. Neo insists that the only way forward is to confront the analyst directly. Soon Neo is summoned. The analyst confronts him in his office, where time slows down into distorted bullet time sequences. The analyst explains his philosophy. He says that people do not desire freedom. They crave comfort, certainty, and control. By exploiting their fears and desires, he created a new matrix more efficient than any before. Unlike the architect of the past, who built systems based on logic, the analyst built his world on emotions. The analyst reveals his greatest trick, keeping Neo and Trinity alive but apart. He explains that their bond generates immense power. When close, they radiate energy. When apart, they long for each other, fueling the system endlessly. Neo realizes that his love for Trinity has been weaponized against him, and against humanity. Neo refuses to surrender. The analyst, however, uses his control over bullet time to freeze Neo in place, humiliating him. Neo can do little but endure the analyst's threats. At the last moment, Bugs and the others intervene, pulling Neo out before he is destroyed. Niobe, furious at Neo's recklessness, places him under confinement. But Bugs and her crew secretly release him, choosing to stand by his side. They know that freeing Trinity is not just about love. It is about breaking the analyst's entire design. The team devises a plan. Neo must meet Trinity one last time. If she chooses to awaken, she can be freed. But the risk is enormous. If she refuses, both she and Neo may die, and the Matrix will tighten its grip forever. Inside the Matrix, Neo approaches Tiffany again. This time, he speaks from his heart. He tells her that she is not who she thinks she is, that her life has been forced upon her. He calls her Trinity. Tiffany trembles, unsure. Her husband Chad arrives once more, trying to drag her away. In that moment, she makes her choice. She pulls away from Chad and declares her name. "My name is Trinity." The awakening begins. The analyst, enraged, orders his agents to attack. The city erupts in chaos as swarms of people, controlled as bots, flood the streets. Neo and Trinity fight side by side, their connection reigniting the strength they once shared. Explosions, car crashes, and desperate battles fill the city. The analyst manipulates the swarm, turning innocent citizens into kamikaze attackers, throwing themselves from rooftops in waves of destruction. Neo shields Trinity, using his powers to protect them, though his abilities are still not fully restored. They race through the chaos on a stolen motorcycle, pursued by endless enemies. At last, they reach the rooftop of a skyscraper. Surrounded on all sides, helicopters close in, firing at them. Neo uses his powers to deflect bullets and missiles, but they are overwhelmed. In desperation, Neo and Trinity clasp hands. Together, they leap from the building. For a moment, it feels like the end, but instead of falling, Trinity begins to rise. Neo looks in shock as she is the one carrying him through the sky. Trinity has awakened, and her power has manifested fully. She soars across the skyline, carrying Neo with her, breaking free from the analyst's control. They escape to a safe zone, but the analyst is waiting. He mocks them, saying that their defiance is useless, and that the system will always need them. But before he can finish, Smith arrives. Smith, Neo's old nemesis, had been quietly watching. No longer an enemy, Smith has his own agenda. He despises the analyst's control and refuses to be enslaved again. He joins Neo and Trinity, helping them fight against the analyst's programs. Smith buys them enough time to escape, proving that his existence is now beyond good or evil. He simply wants freedom. Neo and Trinity finally confront the analyst in his own domain. This time, they are united, their bond unbreakable. The analyst tries once more to manipulate reality, but Trinity and Neo together override his control. They strip him of his dominance, leaving him powerless. Trinity, now fully awakened, delivers the final blow. She tells the analyst that his reign is over. She and Neo will reshape the Matrix on their own terms. Instead of fear and control, they will rebuild it with choice and possibility. The analyst, humiliated, warns that people will not want freedom. Trinity replies that it does not matter, they will be given the chance. Neo agrees. Together, they promise to create a new world, no longer defined by the analyst's manipulation. With the battle over, Neo and Trinity fly across the sky, hand in hand, no longer bound by the system. Neo, once the savior alone, now shares his purpose with Trinity. They are equals, partners, and together they will guide humanity toward a different future. The story closes as they soar high above the city, free at last, ready to begin again.